Okay guys, welcome back to the Frugal Homestead. I'm Tony, and if you are not already subscribed, please go down, hit that button, hit the notification button. That way you never miss any of our videos in the upcoming future. Now today I want to talk about something that I think every homestead should have. I think every house should have it. I think that every shop should have one, and that is a kilowatt meter. Essentially what this does is you plug it into the wall. It has a standard jack on the back, and you plug your device in here, and it will measure what power it uses in multiple ways. Now this can be amazingly helpful at reducing your electric bill and reducing your electric consumption. Even as far as if you're off grid, you can put this in line with your inverter and measure how much you're drawing at any one point in time. Now they do have 220 versions, but it's got a European plug on it, so you would have to adapt it. I don't mess with that. I pretty much mess just with the 110 version here. It can be found for under $20. I will put links to this in the description box below, so you guys can go check them out. I think I paid $18 for this one. So basically, let me explain here what exactly it does. When you plug this into the wall and then plug in your device here, it will measure the voltage, the amps, the watts. It has other measurements, but I'm not going to try and get into those in this video and explain them, but it also has kilowatt hours, and this is an important one because it tells you what it uses over time. Now, this can be great for also finding phantom loads. And a phantom load, generally speaking, is just a load that when something's turned off, it's still pulling power. And you guys would be amazed how many devices do this. To reference an example, I had a 42-inch Vizio TV. We've had it for about, I don't know, 5 years, 7 years. When turned off, that TV pulled 125 watts. When turned on, it pulled 350. That's a lot just to be sitting there. We started unplugging it, and I instantly noticed a change in our electric bill, because you got to figure that's 125 watts. So over a day's time, we were probably spending close to 11 cents. But that's only one example. Even as little as your cell phone charger, when left plugged in, uses power. And there's many other things. And before we go and start testing some devices so I can show you how it works, you need to understand that anything that has a compressor, a window shaker air conditioner like a window AC, a refrigerator, a freezer, anything that has a compressor inside it like a motor that kicks on and off, then that is going to give you different readings when it's running and when it's not. That's where the kilowatt hour comes in nice, because you leave it hooked up for 24 hours and it will give you an approximation of what that device uses over 24 hours or over an hour if you want to measure it over an hour. But we're going to run around, test a few things here so I can show you how it works, and then you'll have a better understanding how it works, and then you'll see how checking things and checking them over your phantom loads will be an amazing, helpful thing. Now, before we go test this, through my testing, I've learned one very valuable thing. And that is the old style tube TVs are power hogs. You may not realize it, but the current rate of the new LCD TVs and LED TVs, preferably the LEDs, you can replace a tube TV for as much as it'll cost you in electric in most places nowadays over a year. I was just the other day I was at Walmart checking out an LED TV, 32-inch, $99. All right, $99. You will use that much power with a 32 or even smaller, 27 inches usually what you find a lot, tube TV. The old big box TVs. You will use that much power over a year, so you could pay off your new TV by replacing it. I just want to throw that out there because a lot of people have them TVs and they're like, it's not worthwhile to pay to replace them. Technically it is, honestly, because you will save that in your electric bill. So let's go check some things out, check some power. We'll start with a TV. Okay guys, I got the meter hooked up to the wall power here. We're doing 123.8 volts is what my box is putting out from the wall. And as you can see, amps, no draw. Watts, no draw. Kilowatt hours, no usage. So, we're going to set it on watts. We're going to plug the TV in. Okay. You can see it's jumping the 0.5 on and off, 0.3, 0.4, 0.3. That's a phantom load, but that is literally nothing. So a half a watt all day long, do that times 24, 12 watts. It's not even going to show up on a bill over a year barely. So this has pretty much no phantom draw, and it's fine to be left plugged in. It doesn't need to be on a power strip, turns off. Now if I was off grid, yeah, I'd probably have that on a shut off, because every piece of a watt counts when you're off grid unless you got a really built up system. So the next step is to turn it on. Obviously, because of copyright on YouTube and stuff, I'm not going to be able to show you TV or have the sound on. So bear with me here. Okay, and now the TV is on. It flashed up to 50 watts just to turn it on. And now it is running about 31, 32 watts, 33 watts. That's about what it normally runs. This is why I upgraded my old TV, is this reason right here. Because my old one was using an insane amount of power. And I will take you back and we will test that one and I will show you how much power that uses. But as you can see, at 31, 30, something like that, running it all day is still not going to kill us. Granted, you don't want a 30 watt draw all day. If nobody's sitting here watching the TV, you obviously want it turned off. And it will greatly reduce your power bill, because if you had this run, you know, over a month for a couple hours every day, you're talking about, you know, starting to spend some serious cash. So this is what the LED TV that I've upgraded to. We actually already had this TV. I just took the big one down and put this one up in the living room because it uses so much less power. Now I'll take you back and show you the other TV and we'll measure its power and you'll see why I changed it. Alright guys, so we're back here in the back room. On the floor here, you can see the TV I took down from the living room, 42 inch. You saw it was on. It is using 95 to 100 watts. It jumps back and forth every few. It actually would use more if there was actually picking a picture up, because it has to have audio and all that stuff. The TV, it does have a power saving mode. So I'm going to try and turn that off. Just a second here. Okay, there's the energy saver mode. I'm going to turn it off. And you can see it climb. So we are running 120. And like I said, the audio is off. I've got it muted because I don't want you to listen to static. But it would push it up to almost 200 watts when this thing's actually tuning in a channel and playing. But right now it's using, you know, 120 right now. So over a 10-hour period, that's 11 to 15 cents in my area through AEP. Based upon what yours costs. And most of you would say, well, mine's only 5 or 6 cents a kilowatt hour. No, double that. Because taxes and fees. Look at your bill and the breakdown. Your taxes and fees are usually pretty comparable when you get to the $50 or $100 range a month to what you're paying. So when somebody approaches you and says we can give you, 5 or 6 kilowatt cents a kilowatt hour, you're actually paying double that up till you get to about $100 a month. Above that, it starts to go down, but still. So if this ran for 10 hours, all right, which on a Saturday afternoon, or if you have people over for a pay-per-view or something, you're going to end up spending that. So 15 cents for every 10 hours. How many hours is your TV on in a month? Times that by a year. And then take that and times that by 10 to 15 cents a kilowatt hour. It adds up fast. So this thing is using triple, mind you, of what my LED one in the living room is using now. If not more. Right now it's in this condition. It would be using almost 4 or 5 times as much. So it's simple things like this that can make or break your electric bill. Let's go check some other devices. Alright guys, now we're going to test a work light with an LED bulb in it. Just a regular old LED bulb and a work light. Alright, let's turn this so we can see. So it's pulling 0.1418 amps. And it is jumping back and forth between 3.5 to 4.5 watts. So that LED light bulb in there is very, very efficient. It is a very good light bulb. It is the equivalent to a 60 watt incandescent bulb, like a regular bulb, at 60 watts. So if you had a regular 60 watt bulb in there, it'd be pulling 60 watts. This one does the same job, but only pulls less than 5. Much more efficient. So let's go on to the next item we're going to test. Okay guys, the next item we're going to test is a cell phone power block. Alright. No name on this one. I think it's an aftermarket that came with a Samsung phone, but it's not an official Samsung. So we plug it in, nothing hooked to it. Watts, nothing. Amps, nothing. So far this is looking like a really good power block. It doesn't have any phantom loads. Now let's try hooking a cable into it with nothing hooked to it and see if it changes. Nope. That's a good power block there. Plug it in so it's charging a phone. Okay. We're using 7.8 watts, 7.7. We're using 0.1 amps. Alright, and we're still running at the same voltage. It's upped it a little bit because there's draw on it, but pretty much the same. And no sizable amounts been pulled yet. So watts, 7.4, charging a cell phone. So now we know how much our cell phone charger uses. Now, if you're trying to come up with numbers, say to set up for off-grid, or you're trying to find out where your power is going to reduce your electric bill, this tool is invaluable. You can't beat this tool. Because if you take it around and use it, you're going to find out real quickly what's efficient and what's not in your house. You know, I gave you the tip about the square type TVs, the old tube style TVs being inefficient. There's old tube style stereos still bopping around. A lot of things you think, well, I don't want to replace that because I don't want to spend the money. It works just fine. It could be killing you on the electric side. It may be costing you more than it's worth. Another thing to look at in households is test your light bulbs. Make sure they're LED. You guys saw us use the work lamp here. Take a work lamp, screw your light bulbs in it. If they're running major wattage, pull them because it adds up real fast. If you've watched our solar updates, you'll know that our electric bill is around $50 a month. We do have some solar that's grid tied, but not enough to make a huge difference. We do it by saving money. Now, on a closing note here, if you have a regular washing machine or even a front load, but if you can plug it into this and test it, some of those, when a cycle ends, it'll say cycle complete, but it sits there and just burns power. Some of them just sit there and use power just sitting there in large amounts. You'd be surprised what some of them front loaders do because they don't care. Now, another thing I want to tell you is a lot of satellite and cable companies have boxes that they make that are as cheap as possible. They don't care what power supply the companies put in it. They just want them made as cheap as possible. Plugging this in, I've seen some of them boxes use up to 300 watts an hour. So that would be something you'd want to put on a power strip and then turn off at night when you go to bed. That way it's not just using power all night long. So many people leave their cable and satellite boxes on thinking, not even thinking about the amount of power they use. And even if you turn them off, it's like I said, with the phantom loads, like the big TV you saw in this video, how much it used. You got to watch what you leave on because it may just be drinking your electric bill down. So, like I said, I'm going to have links to this down in the description box. $20, less actually. You can get this and you can start measuring things you use. And you'll be amazed at how many different things suck tons of power in your house. You can test your coffee maker. There's a lot of videos with a lot of energy saving tips and ways to lower your electric bill we got coming. So be on the lookout for those. We really appreciate you guys watching. And once again, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, because there's going to be a lot more good tips coming along. Just here in probably the next month, we're going to start really getting into getting these videos out to you guys. So I'm Tony. This is the Frugal Homestead, and we appreciate you coming along with us in this video.